Тешко дека оваа грчка влада и овој грчки премиер ќе ги придвижат работите во однос на прашањето за името, вели претседателот на Либералната партија на Грција Григори Vallianatos во ексклузивно интервју за Македонската радио телевизија. Според Vallianatos, фактот што денес уставното име е признато од 134 држави во светот говори дека времето работи во корист на Македонија.
So in this past period, I think that more than ever it has become clear that the Greek side, aside the whole constitutional name of the Republic of Macedonia, also is having some troubles with the Macedonian nation, Macedonian identity as a whole. So what I'm asking is, how is it possible for one to be upset and bothered by the existence of one nation and the name of their language, their culture, etc.?
Well, first of all, I have to say that I'm very happy to communicate with people from Macedonia, which I love as a country and people, because we're all brothers. My history with the Macedonian problem is old, and people in Macedonia know it very well. I have been struggling for human rights. So, as a journalist, what I was up until 2 years ago, I was reporting what Greek people did not know, which is the reports of relevant organizations, I mean the United Nations, the Council of Europe, the European Union, and organizations of human rights, as to the right of, first, a group of Greek citizens of Macedonian origin, and then, of course, of the neighboring country. Now, as a politician, I want you to know that, first of all, in Greece there is liberal people, who understand fully in the way I do. And the way I do is that there is a nation which has a consciousness of a nation, a fresh nation, that has always been there. And that's it. Now, as a liberal politician, I believe that there is a right to self-determination. And I try to communicate that to my compatriots. And Greeks are angry because they have been trapped by their own politicians, because the discussion is not on the name of the country, according to the Greeks, and it is not on the nationality and the language. So this is a trap that Greeks were not aware of, and now they are confused. Now, Greece is in a very severe crisis, and all the external issues go back in the agenda, unfortunately. I believe in the years to come we have to get to know each other better. I believe in the Balkans and in the brotherhood of people. I believe in the understanding among nations. To make a long story short, you have the right to call yourselves what you feel like. And we're very proud you share a culture that we are part of too.
Let's speak about the Macedonian minority here a little. Now, we know that Greece is persistently refusing the fact that there are ethnic Macedonians who live in this country. Now, basically we have a situation where Greece, who is a member state of EU, of NATO, of the UN, of the Council of Europe, yes, is denying the basic human rights, such as the right of self-identification, to the Macedonian minority that lives here. My question is, who is to blame for this unfortunate situation? Who is to blame more? Greece for not respecting all the documents and resolutions and judgments and recommendations from those organizations? Or maybe we need to blame those international organizations more because they are not putting enough pressure on Greece like they did, let's say, for the austerity measures?
Well, it's a very long story, and it's a brave question. Nations, modern nations in the Balkans, try to identify themselves and disassociate themselves from other nations that they had been living through the Ottoman Empire. And there is an effort which reached the ethnic cleansing sometimes, that nations try to be clean. But that was a tendency in the 19th century, etc. I want to look forward. I can tell you about history, the way we teach history to the kids, and I can remind you of the wars and all hostilities and all that. I repeat that I don't feel threatened by anybody outside, and I know that there is people in several parts of west Macedonia, the Greek Macedonia, I mean, that feel like belonging to another nation, and there's others who don't. But again, I conclude as with my liberal word that in a free world, people should self-determine themselves and decide for their destiny. The European Union and all the other organizations try to deal in a diplomatic way. But you have to see that at the end of the day, how many countries started back almost 30 years ago, and now there's 134. I mean, the work, the time works for your sake. This is unfortunate for fanaticism. It's unfortunate for people who are confused.
What's your stance on the confiscated properties of the Macedonian refugees from the civil war that are mostly placed in northern Greece now?
Well, this is a legal issue that has international solutions. I believe there is international instances that Greeks go when they need, Cypriots go, Turks go, they will go. There's going to be a mobility on this issue. And I think that you can go by the book your international rights and claim, and maybe you're wrong, maybe you're right.
So since we mentioned international law, we have a situation where Greece is basically not respecting the judgment from the International Court in Hague, who said that the veto for Macedonia's integration into the NATO is illegal. So what kind of message do you think that this disrespecting of the international law sends in global frames?
It is obvious that different governments interpret decisions in a different way. And let me take this example. The veto story. You know that the defense line of the government of Greece was, well, we never vetoed. And of course, the press of the time, and I'm a journalist, that's why I'm telling you, is that the lion prime minister with a veto that changed the world. I know you want to insist on the legal issue. I want to insist on looking forward. I don't think that we should go on pressing in this way. I think that we sit down, we should, and find a solution. And the solution, of course, is the way that the sovereign people wants.
So you've mentioned that we have to sit and talk, of course. Yeah. We had a few initiatives, few invitations for direct meetings sent by top Macedonia officials, such as the Prime Minister and the President, to their Greek colleagues, but unfortunately all of them were denied. So do you think that the Greek side, this Greek government, is very much constructive, like they claim?
Well, it is difficult for this particular Greek government and this particular Prime Minister to sit down and move, because he himself has been trapped in his own history. You should not expect this government to move, very frankly. And we'll see what the next government will do. I think that countries should go by their obligations in the international scene, have a clear consciousness, think about other nations and go. You should wait for the other side to come up to the expectations. And both sides can say for the other side the same thing. I think we should wait a little bit more.
Let's speak about the policy of this current government now. Although the interim court specifically forbids any monopolization of the term Macedonia, we had Foreign Minister Avramopoulos a few weeks ago promoting book for the alleged Greek character of Macedonia, and very often we can hear Greek politicians now saying how Macedonia is one and Greek. So many believe that this Greek government is actually holding back the process, going back to the policy of the 90s. Do you agree with this?
Yes, I described it earlier. Greeks live their side of the history, and they're not prepared because the education and the international climate and the crisis don't help. See, Greeks feel that a culture can be stolen. And I smile because I'm very proud that people around the world claim that they're Greeks or Macedonians or Spartans or Athenians or whatever. It's a very different way of approaching life. If you are short-sighted is the one, if you're free is the other one. And I believe that future generations should live together in the latter version.
In the early 90s we had Macedonian government